Jehovah uses human representatives, the faithful and appointed elders, to dispense truths to those eating at his table. The apostate Satan disseminates falsehoods in a similar way. He mimics Jehovah by using human representatives. Who are they? If Satan and his demons are chefs in his evil kitchen, then human apostates are his helpers.
So that's a clip from a talk that's being delivered worldwide at the 2013 God's Word is Truth District Convention of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's being given on Saturday at 11:10, and the title is Human Apostates. You know, actually, when I first heard this talk, I thought that I was being punked, like this had been a joke. I was just waiting for Ashton Kutcher to come running out with his camera crew and telling me that I'd been set up. But soon I realized that, sadly, this wasn't a joke, and this really is what is being told to millions of Jehovah's Witnesses this year. You know, I can almost hear my dad right now telling me, focus on better things, or why is this so important to you? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because this is what my mom is being taught to believe about her daughter. This is what my brother, my grandmother, my aunt, my uncles are all hearing, essentially about me. And that is what so deeply and profoundly disturbs me about this. Why don't we look at the actual definition of apostate? The dictionary defines apostate as one who has abandoned one's religious faith. Nothing more, nothing less. One who used to believe in a religion and no longer does. Just point blank. You know, that actually perfectly defines exactly what I am. Now, let's look at what the WatchTower defines as an apostate.
Like Satan, human apostates are unruly men who cook up wicked reasonings and season their brew with poisonous lies that deceive minds. They pushed away from the table of Jehovah. Their preference is to partake of falsehood at the table of demons.
Let me get this straight. Just by simply leaving the WatchTower organization, I am now labeled as unruly, season my brew with poisonous lies that deceive minds, and because I don't prefer to go and be a part of this religion, I now prefer to sit at the table with demons. That definition is really horrifying. I would be terrified. And actually, I remember being terrified by that definition growing up in this religion. They help Satan, and they're equivalent to his demons. To a child, that's huge. And, you know, I actually distinctly remember asking my mom several questions about things that I just didn't understand. I couldn't make any sense of, like 1914, where they grabbed that number from. What does this generation mean? She would tell me, well, you sound like an apostate, Stephanie. Just for asking those questions, I sounded like an apostate, and that would scare me silent. This is what I've been hearing about apostates essentially my whole life. They have no face. They have no personality. When they're being described this way, it's very much a demonic, devil-like character that's being created in the minds of the people who are listening to this. I'm here to put a face to a human apostate. I'm here to talk to my father. If you're watching this, Dad, this is what Mom is hearing. This is what Mom believes about me. So I want you to really listen to this talk. Listen to these clips. And when you hear the word apostate, replace it with Stephanie. Replace it with my daughter. Replace it with my sister. Replace it with my son, my father, my mother. And see if it still sounds the same to you.
Rather than going out and making their own disciples, many apostates seek to draw away Christ's disciples after themselves. To accomplish their goal of drawing away disciples after themselves and dividing the congregation, Apostates may use smooth talk on the internet, on television, or in letters to loyal witnesses of Jehovah.
Have you ever read a review or testimonial about anything? Decided maybe you wanted to buy a new camera, and so you went on Amazon.com and read the reviews about that particular camera from people who, I don't know, actually owned the camera and want to tell about their experience with the camera. How is that any different than what I'm doing or what any other ex-Jehovah's Witness is doing? That doesn't mean that we want to take followers for ourselves. I sure don't. I don't want anybody to follow me. I would be weirded out if somebody decided to follow me, follow my instruction. But just like I write reviews for Amazon, I actually do that. I'm writing a review and I'm giving my review of this organization, of this religion. I had horrible experiences with this religion. I can't think of one good thing that ever came out of it. And if someone were to ask me, should I become a Jehovah's Witness? What, I'm supposed to lie? I'm supposed to say, yes, it's great, it's wonderful. Or wouldn't I, just like any other normal human being, say, no, don't. I mean, this is my experience. This has been my experience with this. You decide whether you want to. After hearing my story, you decide whether you want to be a part of it. Plain and simple.
They seek to draw away Christ's disciples after themselves and cause divisions.
So I'm the one who wants to cause divisions. Okay, I find that so funny. All I wanted to do was not be associated with this religion. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the practices. I don't agree with the policies. I don't agree with the new light. I have been saying for years that I didn't believe that this generation will not pass. I've been saying that for years, that, these people are getting old. They're either the end is going to come, or there's going to be some new light that's going to correct that thinking, because, oh wait, they're all dead. So now what are we going to do? And just like I said it was going to happen, it happened. And, when I said it before, I sounded like an apostate. But who's right? I mean, I just don't understand. I'm not the one causing divisions. Because I don't agree with this religion, I got baptized as a very, very young person. I had no idea the implications that would come from this. I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't know that if I changed my mind once I became an adult, once I had my own thought process, that I would lose my entire family over it. Not at all. I just want to be able to do what I was raised to do. I mean, my parents, my dad anyway, raised me, always said, hey, make your own decisions. Stand up for things that you believe in. And that's all I have ever tried to do. And that is all I'm doing in this situation. I'm not trying to cause divisions. I don't want to cause divisions. I want my family. I love my family. I send a card to my mom every single week. My mom not once has replied, not once has said that she even got them. All I have told her is, I just want you to know that I love you. Despite if you love me, despite the fact that your love is very conditional, I still love you. Didn't even know she received them. Who's causing divisions here?
They lie to authorities. Through the media, they seek to discredit Jehovah's people and incite bans on our work. Apostates falsely stated that Jehovah's Witnesses supported Hitler's regime during World War II.
I'm an investigator by nature. My husband makes fun of me all the time, telling me that I should be a detective. Maybe so, but I just don't take things for face value. So I heard this part in the talk about how apostates have falsely claimed that witnesses supported Hitler during his regime in World War II. Never heard that before. Let me do some research. So as it turns out, if you do some research, there are answers to be had. Here is the PDF copy of the actual letter that was sent to Hitler during World War II by the Society. Of course, it's in German, but there are all kinds of English translations all over the internet. That's the power of the internet these days. If you don't know where to find it, a quick Google search will show you. If you need the link to it, let me know, and I will provide that to you as well. I'm unsure as to where the lying is coming from, considering that, apostates are being called liars for stating this information, but it is clear. It's in black and white. It's signed by the representatives from the society. It's on WatchTower letterhead, and I don't really know what else to say about that other than who's lying here. It's no wonder that witnesses are commanded to stay off of the internet, to only go to one particular website, and we know which website that is, the one that's owned by them. Because it's a couple of keyboard punches away to actually find the real information.
Apostates have used the media to accuse witnesses of refusing to give medical treatment to their children.
Blood transfusions? Just a few years ago, you weren't even allowed to have blood fractions. People died. Kids died. Family members died because they were not allowed to have life-saving blood or blood fractions. Now they made it like, oh, well, you can have certain blood fractions. What about all those people who died? What about those children who died? Are we making this up, or is this something, am I on another planet right now? Everybody who knows anything about witnesses, including the witnesses, including the guy who's giving this talk right now, knows for a fact that if any of those parents had a child that was on their deathbed and they needed blood to save their life, they would refuse. Who is lying?
And of deliberately condoning serious sins committed by fellow believers.
Okay, so WatchTower, prove this wrong. Do you have policies in place that protect children from molestation? Well, I know it happened to me, and I know that my mom went to the elders, and the elders said that without two witnesses, it's my word against his. They did nothing. The same thing happened to Candace Conti. She's been in the news. She just won $28 million in damages from the WatchTower Society over her sexual abuse case being mishandled by the elders. She was 9 or 10 years old being sexually abused by a ministerial servant. You're going to tell me that that's not protecting serious wrongdoing? That's not condoning it even? You show me the policies that you have that protect kids. Show me what happens if some distraught parent comes to you and tells you that her child has been molested by a fellow elder or by some person that they truly trusted in the congregation. You tell me what happens, because I know what's happening. I've seen it firsthand. It's happened to me. There are thousands of cases worldwide where these things are continuing to happen. So again, I'm unsure as to why we are being called liars. Oh, but wait, we're not just liars. It gets worse.
Human apostates are mentally diseased, and they try to infect others with their disloyal teaching.
Mentally diseased? This has to be a joke.
So avoiding apostates means that we will not allow them into our homes by reading their literature, watching TV programs that feature them, examining their websites, or adding our comments to their blogs.
So again, don't research. Don't read anything that anyone else has to say except for us. Buy that camera. Don't look at Consumer Reports. Don't find out from anybody else who's actually owned it. Take our word for it.
Apostates are not sincere in their expressions. Their aim is to manipulate your mind and undermine your faith.
No, this is the sentence that bothers me the most out of this entire talk. that I'm not sincere and I just seek to manipulate others, basically lie about how I feel. I have spent hours and nights crying, aching, tormenting myself over this. I love my mom. I miss my mom. I had 2 miscarriages in a row and couldn't even hug my mother. I couldn't even call my mother to tell her how I was feeling, because this picture is being painted of me to her, and I can't even defend myself because she won't speak to me. It's so one-sided. You paint this picture of people, calling them demonic, calling them equal to Satan, calling them wicked. And of course, they're going to believe it because they're unable to believe anything else. They're unable to find any other additional information. They're not even able to go to the source and find out how they really feel. That's the part that bothers me the most. Even in court cases, even in the news, when you make an allegation about somebody, they are able to defend themselves. And then the jury decides, after hearing both sides, they decide which one they want to believe. This is not even the opportunity that's being afforded the witnesses. What the witnesses are getting is one side and one side only, and they are commanded to not explore the other.
Apostates become part of the Antichrist. They are against Christ. They are liars and deceivers, bent on destroying your relationship with Jehovah God and His Son, Christ Jesus.
So yeah, you get it. I mean, we're liars, we're deceivers, we're Satan's helpers, we're wicked people. All I did is leave an organization that I didn't feel comfortable being in. If you ask me, would I go back and do the same thing, knowing that I would lose my family? Yes, I would. Because above everything, I have to live an authentic life. Just point blank. I can't pretend to be something that I'm not. I can't pretend to love an organization that I don't. I can't pretend to agree with doctrine that I don't. And that's all I can encourage you to do, is research for yourself. Think for yourself. Be authentic. Live your authentic life. Get both sides of the story and figure out for yourself which one that you want to believe. I used to be afraid of the term apostate because of the WatchTower's definition of it. Can you blame me? But now I embrace it. I am an apostate. I'm a human apostate. I'm human. I have thoughts, I have feelings, I have emotions, I have highs, I have lows, I have sadness, and I have happiness. And I would never, ever go back. I would never go back to being inauthentic just to make someone else comfortable. I hope that every single person that's watching this will get to that point too.